Hello there, my friends, and welcome to today's Explainer. You know, having lived in this forest for, well, more seasons than I can count, I've seen a lot of things come and go. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's about a deeply fascinating psychological trap, one that I personally watched ensnare a very ambitious, but let's just say very foolish young mouse named Milo. Okay, let's dive into this. I remember sitting by the stream one afternoon and I told young Milo a truth that I've carried for a long time. A plan is only a seed. The work is what makes it grow. Think about it. A seed is incredible, right? It's bursting with potential. It holds the entire blueprint for a massive oak tree or a huge, bountiful harvest. But if it just sits on a rock, it doesn't do a thing. You actually have to plant it in the dark, dirty earth. You have to do the quiet, completely unglamorous work of watering it day in and day out. Talking about your plans, that is absolutely no substitute for the quiet work needed to make them real. Actually, as we're going to see, talking too much can literally destroy that seed before it even sprouts. Section 1. The loudest mouse, and when ambition becomes a performance. Let me tell you about how Milo kicked off the early fall season. He was running frantically all over the forest, but he wasn't gathering food. Nope, he was gathering an audience. Milo was tumbling headfirst into a classic psychological pitfall, the illusion of progress. See, he was spending hours, literally hours, just talking instead of actually collecting nuts and seeds. Every single time he cornered the rabbit or the squirrel or the birds or even that lazy crow to tell them about his grand plans, they'd smile and say, "Wow, Milo, that's so impressive." And right there is the danger. His brain couldn't actually distinguish between the praise for his idea and the reward for doing the hard work. He felt so successful. He felt incredibly accomplished. Meanwhile, his storage was completely empty. He was experiencing this total illusion of forward momentum simply because his mouth was moving. Section 2. The early validation trap, and rewarding the brain too soon. This perfectly sets up a crucial little intervention we had down by the stream, where I had to stop Milo in his tracks and ask him, "Have you actually collected any food yet?" He was celebrating way too early. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact psychological trap Milo fell into. We call it premature validation. So when you announce your goals to the world usually claps for you, right? And your brain loves that. It releases a huge hit of dopamine. You get all the emotional reward of completing the goal without having taken a single step. The applause literally substitutes the effort. Think about it. Why would Milo go do the backbreaking, exhausting work of hauling heavy seeds in the freezing cold when he could just get that warm, fuzzy feeling of success just by chatting up a squirrel? This kind of early praise just completely saps your motivation for the real work. And, the consequences of this loose tongue were devastatingly real in the physical world. Just look at the timeline. In early fall, Milo boasted to anyone who'd listen. By mid-fall, well, that opportunistic crow was using Milo's daily speeches like a personal treasure map. Every time Milo bragged about finding the perfect new spot for acorns, the crow would fly right over there and steal everything. Then, late fall hits. The harsh winter is right around the corner, and Milo looks at his storage and absolutely panics. Empty. His early validation didn't just rob him of his motivation, it quite literally cost him his survival resources. Section 3. A seed needs silence, and the pivot to quiet action. Let's move to OZs and see how this builds. Because later that evening, sitting by the stream, looking absolutely terrified about the approaching snow, Milo finally accepted the lesson. A plan is just a seed. Let's compare Milo's two approaches here. On one hand, his old habit of talking. That was entirely about seeking approval. It completely drained his physical and mental energy, and thanks to our friend the crow, it was actively losing him resources. Now look at the other side. Working. This meant keeping his goals a total secret. And the results? Unbelievable. By just removing the audience, his focus skyrocketed. He stopped worrying about what everybody else thought of him. He was completely dialed into the task, and slowly but surely, that storage finally started filling up. So how exactly did he do it? Milo adopted an incredibly strict quiet routine. Step 1. He woke up before sunrise. He got to work before there was even an audience awake to impress. Step 2. Pure, unadulterated execution. Just searching for and organizing those nuts and seeds. And Step 3. He kept his good food sources entirely private. He completely stopped giving away his leverage. By avoiding the spotlight, Milo actually tapped into this massive reservoir of energy he didn't even know he had. It prolonged his focus for hours and hours. Naturally, the other animals in the forest noticed this shift. They'd wander up to him, expecting another one of his grand, sweeping speeches about his plans, but Milo He had a brand new, extremely powerful two-word response. Just working. That's it. Nothing more. No timelines, no big promises, no details. Just working. And man, oh man, let me tell you, this sudden wall of silence deeply, deeply frustrated that sneaky crow. The crow stalked him, tried to tail him through the bushes, but without Milo broadcasting his every move, the crow was completely cut off. That silence became Milo's ultimate shield. Section 4. Let results speak, and the harvest of silent work. When the harsh, biting winds of winter finally swept through the trees, the rabbit hopped over to Milo's burrow, expecting the worst. But instead, he was met with absolute shock. Rows and rows of seeds, massive piles of nuts. His storage was completely full. And this brilliantly illustrates the wisdom Milo ended up sharing with a young squirrel later on. He didn't brag. He proudly echoed the teachings of the forest. Dreams grow best in silence. You don't dig up a seed every single day just to show everyone the dirt. If you do that, the seed dies, plain and simple. You have to protect your ideas. Water them in private. Let the people around you hear of your success from your undeniable results, not from empty promises. So the crucial point is, how much boasting do you actually need to do once your results start speaking for themselves? Zero. None. Near the end of winter, Milo bumped into that very disappointed, very hungry crow. The crow asked him, "Why did you stop telling everyone everything?" Milo didn't even argue. He just looked out at the snowy trees and let his overflowing storage do all the talking. The crow had absolutely zero response. He finally understood that the strongest workers in the forest are always the quietest ones. Which brings me right to you. As an old turtle who's seen the seasons change more times than I can count, I want to leave you with a direct challenge. Are you planting seeds, or are you just showing off the soil? Seriously, ask yourself, are you addicted to that early applause, that premature validation of announcing your every move to the world? Or are you ready to embrace the silent power of action? I challenge you today. Pick one goal, keep it entirely to yourself, and just get to work. Let your results be your introduction. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep working, stay quiet, and I'll see you next time.